together. We change the world.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Theo here with another Should You Pull tier list. This tier list is just my opinion and is not always a measure of character strength. Team building is the core of this game and we can make any unit work when properly set up. If you have a favorite, always go for them. So there's no live stream this month and the game schedule is not yet announced in-game. And we have about 6 events left before the new difficulty arrives, not including the seasonal campaigns. And in global, we do have about 6 events a month outside of seasonal banners. So I figured I might as well just make a tier list for all the remaining units before RE-SHINRYU. Starting with Irvine. Irvine is a highly specialized hybrid unit whose kit revolves entirely around supporting ranged attackers. In the correct team, Irvine can provide up to 110% HP damage limit up with both his BT and FR active. But this full bonus only applies to ranged abilities. His FR is great when used as primary force time because it has easy conditions and strong bonuses for party of ranged attackers. His LD is an instant turn ability that charges the force gauge and gives him access to his stronger attacks, most notably pulse ammo, the strongest attack in his arsenal that far eclipses the other buttons in his kit. But because of the restrictions from his BT and FR, Irvine functions best in a team of 3 ranged attackers, heavily limiting his team building options. I put Irvine in the You Decide tier. If your roster has a lot of strong ranged attackers, then he can be a good addition to the team, otherwise he is a safe skip. Next up is the final party member from FF9, Amarant. He's a pure damage dealer, specializing in dealing absurd amount of AoE damage. His S2 chakra is a massive party heal with gauge charging capabilities. He has high on-turn damage, but also access to an AoE counter-attack. But he does lack a lock or taunt mechanic to direct enemy attacks to himself in order to trigger more of his counter. If we are analyzing Amarant in a bubble, then he is easily one of our strongest DPS unit in DFFOO. But global is cursed with the gift of foresight, and we know that Rufus is just right around the corner. But I will still put Amarant in the Theo approved tier because of his high damage output. Next character is Keiss. Keiss is a hybrid support, launch enabler, and follow-up attacker. His BT allows Keiss to perform a follow-up attack whenever anyone in the party performs a launch. The follow-up attack itself will also lead to a launch but will not trigger an infinite loop with himself. Keiss has the unique effect of battering the party mid-air with his special launch HP attack. His LD debuff can also top up party brave after a launch. With Keiss in the team, the party should have no issue capping out their brave during a launch. One minor weakness with him is that his launch enabler can be quite awkward. It is tied to a single target buff from his S2 or from using his FR as primary force time. But like Fujin, his FR is actually quite decent, so it's not that big of a drawback. I place Keiss also in the Theo approved tier. Launch has always been a strong mechanic and Keiss fits just right into the meta. He can be paired together with Fujin to produce ridiculous damage output. Together with Keiss, we get a rework for Jack Garland. He's a pure damage dealer and that's it. That's all he does. His rework is nothing to write home about and his updated damage is average at best. The current iteration of Jack belongs in the safe skip tier. He has seen better days. Next character is Ultimecia. Ultimecia is also a pure damage dealer. Her BT gives her the unique ability to delete enemy turns whenever she attacks, and this has now been updated to have longer duration and stronger auras. Unfortunately, Ultimecia suffers from what we call the turn hogger tax. Units that can generate consecutive turns tend to have lower than average damage output, and Ultimecia could not escape this fate. She will eat up your force time duration while dishing out below average damage, and this leads to her placement in the safe skip tier. But if you have Quina and is interested in the Quina Ultimecia cheese, you can pull for her EX weapon, and that's all she needs to perform the cheese. Next in line is Faris. She is a debuffer and often damage dealer with quite a unique gimmick that relies on enemy debuff duration. With her BT, Faris will perform a new follow-up attack Whirlpool Plus on top of her base Whirlpool, but this will only trigger if the total debuff duration on the enemy is at least 50 turns. To help with this gimmick, the duration of debuffs inflicted by Faris will not decrease when her BT is active. This can lead to very high often damage with 2 triggers of Whirlpools. Her debuff also provides high degree of safety because she will set enemy brave to 0 at the start of enemy turn. The 50 turn requirement might sound high, but a single application of her LD already provides all she needs to activate Whirlpool Plus. I put Faris in the You Decide tier. She's a fun and easy character to play, and she works very well with other often damage dealers. In the same event with Faris, we have Gilgamesh. Like Jack and Ultimecia, Gilgamesh is also a pure damage dealer, but unfortunately also like Jack and Ultimecia, his damage output is terrible for his role. Gilgamesh is a contender for one of the worst characters of the era, and I'll have to place him in the safe skip tier. Next up is Cait Sith. He is a support character, and his S2 Mock Dance is a good party heal and gauge charger. His LD has a unique battery effect that enables the party to still do good HP damage even with weak brave hits. His BT comes with standard party auras, but it unlocks a strong HP attack called Transform that deals damage based on the total brave value of all 3 party members, and this can exceed normal HP damage limit. We can't ever go wrong with pulling for support, and thus Cait Sith goes into the You Decide tier. If your roster lacks Brave Gain or Battery unit that allows your party to ignore Brave damage resistance, then Cait Sith can be a great addition to your roster. Last but certainly not least, the final unit before RE-SHINRYU is Gladio. Gladio is a tank and counter-attacker. His game plan hasn't changed since its initial release, and like most tanks, he's a very simple but effective unit to play. His BT grants him turn rate down and self-cap up, further increasing the effectiveness of this counter-attack playstyle. It also allows Gladio to heal the party after dealing HP damage, further ensuring party safety in fights with heavy AoE damage. His FR is fantastic as primary force time, despite not having cap-up effects. His damage is lower if compared to Ruby or Kalga, but Gladio has superior defensive options compared to them. I have Gladio in the You Decide tier. That said, counter tank is what I consider a must-have role in your roster. If you do not yet have one, I would highly recommend pulling for Gladio, but if you already have units like Ruby, Kalga or Oran, then Gladio is skippable. And that's it for the tier list. To be honest, if you are really strapped for cash, it's probably safe to skip the entire month. What is your pull plan for this batch? Let me know in the comments. And if there's anything you disagree with, let me know as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!